Hello. This is Antje from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching our videos. This time, I've put together a summary on how to navigate the Oops All Spells matchup when playing Doomsday, along with some thoughts on sideboarding strategies. There's also a link to the pile breakdown video in the description, so feel free to check it out. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. I kept this hand, but it's not particularly fast, and since I can't fetch a Surveil land off the fetch land, I think I probably should have mulliganed. I'm going to dig for some mana acceleration. Surveil's effect leaves it on top of the library. Looks like my opponent is on Oops All Spells. I'm going to dig for some mana acceleration. I'm going all in. From here. Since I can only see myself losing to their combo on the next turn, I'll put a blue card in the pile as a pitch to Force of Will. If my opponent goes for their combo, I'll use Edge of Autumn to draw the blue card on top of the pile. I chose Brainstorm as the blue card because if my opponent doesn't combo off, I can just use it to go for the win myself. Next, since using Edge of Autumn would leave me short on lands, I'll include a fetch land and an island. Also, considering the possibility that my opponent might have Memory's Journey in hand, I'll put 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle in the pile just to be safe. I build the pile. Island Thassa's Oracle Fetchland Brainstorm. I'll start drawing through the pile with my pile opener. I win the game with Thassa's Oracle. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here's what I actually sided in and out during the match. I forgot to side out Tamio, Inquisitive Student from the main deck. These are the cards from Oops All Spells that can impact Doomsday. First, since my opponent's deck relies on the graveyard, I don't think there's any debate about bringing in Surgical Extraction. Next are cards like Pact of Negation, Cabal Therapy, and Thoughtseize. Against those cards, I sideboard in Force of Negation and Flusterstorm. In exchange, I'll take out Duress. After sideboarding, my opponent might switch things up and move to a non-graveyard plan. But their main combo engine is still a creature-based combo. Duress can't hit cards like Balustrade Spy or Undercity Informer, which is why I sided it out. Next, I'll take out Tamio, Inquisitive Student. The reason for cutting Tamio is that the game usually ends before she can start generating card advantage, so her impact is minimal. I'll also take out a Swamp in Cavern of Souls. The reason for cutting Swamp is that my opponent doesn't attack my mana, so the value of basic lands goes down. Since this list runs 4 cyclers, it might also be reasonable to cut Edge of Autumn instead and keep the Swamp. However, I kept all 4 cyclers to ensure that once I go off, I can win in a single shot. Next is Chancellor of the Annex. If multiple copies get revealed, my spells can end up getting countered. But by casting Lion's Eye Diamond or Lotus Petal first, I can mostly neutralize it, as long as I get to untap when I'm on the draw. Next is Memory's Journey. If it's cast in response to my Thassa's Oracle trigger, it can disrupt my win. If I don't have a backup counterspell in hand, I can play around it by putting 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle into the pile. Here, if I had Nihil Spellbomb in the main deck, it wouldn't just shut down one of my opponent's combo lines. Even if they responded to my Thassa's Oracle with Memory's Journey, I could target my own graveyard with the Spellbomb to nullify it. To wrap things up, I'd like to add a few final notes about Nihil Spellbomb. I cast Nihil Spellbomb and it resolved onto the battlefield. After that, I cast Doomsday, built my pile, and passed the turn. My opponent has Balustrade Spy in hand, but with the graveyard shut down, they can't combo off. At this point, my opponent might play Balustrade Spy and target my pile. If there isn't a land in the pile, I could lose to a library out effect, so that's something to watch out for. Since my opponent chose to mulligan, I'll keep this hand. The reason I kept this hand is that after a mulligan, if they don't flip into force of will, or if their hand size is reduced, there's a chance they can't win even with it. And if my opponent starts with Thoughtseize, I felt it would be stronger to dig for force of will with Ponder. I'm going to dig for force of will. Didn't find it, so I shuffle. Fortunately, I got an extra turn. I'm going to dig for Graveyard Hate and a counterspell. I put Thassa's Oracle on top, followed by Dark Ritual. I activate Nihil Spellbomb. What hit the graveyard were 3 Thoughtseize, 1 Bridge from Below, 2 Duress, and 2 Cabal Therapy. No Goblin Charbelcher or Chancellor of the Annex showed up. I'll counter it with Daze. Lastly, I have an announcement. I'm posting the concepts behind the images used in my videos, as well as small flavor-inspired stories, in the YouTube community section. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the many play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you next time. This is Antya.